When I started taking business leadership seriously, one of my first college courses was about conflict resolution in the workplace. In our first class lecture, the professor, let's just call him Steve, asked the class the question, "What's the best way to resolve an argument?" This single question not only helped to deepen my understanding of the vast complexity of conflict resolution, but also revealed how little I knew about the subject. I confidently wrote a short essay in our online forum stating that the best way to solve an argument was simply not to have one in the first place. After all, it's better to have neither the itch or the scratch, right? Clearly, the best way to have an argument is to avoid one altogether. At the next class, we began by discussing the previous lecture material. We opened by evaluating some of the group discussions and their proposed ideas. I was proud to see that my points had made the discussion board, but when the time came to address my answer, the professor was dissatisfied with my response. He correctly asserted that the idea of avoiding conflict, while necessary at times, tended to create more problems than it solved, and refusing to address such issues would also make them much bigger down the road. No matter where you work or what you do, conflict is inevitable. Your coworkers, your manager, your boss, even that security guard who insists that your company parking sticker on your vehicle isn't prominently displayed. It's impossible to see eye to eye with everyone all the time, and that's completely normal. The most important thing about addressing aggression and conflict in the workplace is learning the methods and resources you need to help you resolve the issue. First and foremost, conflict isn't something you should be afraid of, but hopefully it's not something you're actively looking for either. Always remember, conflict is an opportunity for people to understand and express their differences. Notice the operative word there is opportunity. You have the power to help set the tone for how to help resolve a conflict by the way that you address the issue. Your tone, demeanor, and the words you choose can help you make sure that you're getting your opinions and ideas across. Your audience will most likely use your example to try and match your same energy level to express their ideas back to you. Confrontational dialogue and assertive body language makes your audience withdrawn and defensive, or encourages them to up the ante by escalating their aggression. It creates a verbal tug of war that ensures you're both going to waste a lot of emotional energy and time deepening your relationship with your human resources department. The best way to begin resolving a conflict is to make sure you're focusing on problems and not people. A person may have good or bad reasons for doing something that's making work harder without knowing how it might affect you or others and their work. When you blame people for problems, they will often try to diffuse tension by placing blame on others and avoiding responsibility to make sure they don't get in trouble if things go badly. This, again, is a great way to ensure you don't solve anything and possibly even make your problems bigger. By focusing on problems caused by systems, you can more freely express your frustrations because others may also weigh in with their own frustrations about the process that frustrate them. This makes people feel heard and helps bring people together by uniting them against a problem rather than creating a discussion about us versus them. Another great factor to keep in mind is who should be involved in the discussion. It's not always a good idea to talk about a problem in a big meeting with lots of people. Inversely, sometimes a one-on-one discussion might make some people feel trapped or cornered. Having a witness or mediator can be a valuable asset. The main objective is to make sure that the people involved have an important reason to be there and to avoid overlap in representation. You don't need advocates to back up your opinions and ideas any more than the other people in the discussion do. Over-representation shifts the balance of discussion from a conversation to a confrontation and may put people on the defensive. They may not even agree to sit down unless they get to do things on their terms, which is a great time waster as you negotiate about how the negotiations can take place. In case of a heated work issue, or with a coworker you don't have a great relationship with, make sure you have a neutral third-party member, someone from HR or maybe another employee from a different department to help act as a discussion coach to make sure things stay on topic, or as a witness in case they don't. Coming towards the end, my next tip is kind of a last resort, in case you're working with a really difficult person or group. It's usually a good idea to talk to a leader or a supervisor, but sometimes your coworkers may be too close to their managers for them to be unbiased regarding work issues. Your problem may even be with your supervisor. In this case, it's important to reach out, and this is really important, at least 2 levels above your immediate supervisor. Basically, your boss's boss's boss. This may seem excessive, but I assure you, finding an authority figure who is 2 layers removed from your immediate work environment can sometimes be the difference between a productive meeting and a series of depressing lectures. They're much more likely to be concerned with results and less easily swayed by influence or power dynamics. And speaking of power dynamics, my last tip here is for the employers. When you have aggressive employees, dominant personalities who regularly clash with others or who bully other employees until they get their way, you owe it to yourself and your employees to get involved. Don't make that same mistake I did back in college. A non-confrontational approach is only going to encourage their behavior and further solidifies to your employees you're more interested in keeping the peace than addressing personality conflicts. This kind of thing can seem childish sometimes, but I can assure you from experience it's one of the most important aspects of being a leader and defines your employees' ability to work as a team. If you aren't actively accountable for taking a role in the personal day-to-day activities of your employees and their problems, I have news for you. You are not in control of your office staff. Your competitors are. The good employees, the ones who regularly perform and make their goals, will eventually decide they don't need to put up with you and will leave their job for a better opportunity. Meanwhile, the troublemakers, the ones causing the office conflicts, will continue to spread their influence and work the system so that they establish their authority over your other employees. The underperformers will decide that this job is probably the best they can get, and they'll begrudgingly go with the flow and keep their head down to make sure they don't get in trouble or start a conflict no one in the office is capable of addressing. Did that last part sound familiar? I hope that doesn't describe your current job. But if it does, please like and subscribe to our content, because the next video is going to address some common workplace issues caused by toxic job environments and some tips you can use to help make it better. Hopefully, this gave you some helpful ideas and made you aware of some resources that can help you resolve smaller disputes at work before they become full-blown arguments. Conflict resolution is an intricate discussion topic, and I'm sure there's plenty we haven't covered yet. So if there's something we haven't touched on, or if there's a pressing scenario you want us to address, please drop a comment down below and let us know so we can be sure to discuss it in a future video. I'm always interested to hear your insights and ideas regarding each topic, and you're always welcome to leave a thoughtful comment below. If you haven't already, please hit the bell icon and subscribe to my channel. I try to make at least a couple of videos a month, and that helps to make sure you're notified when new content becomes available. Also, if you enjoyed these videos, please be sure to hit the like button. Knowing what content you enjoy helps me make more meaningful videos in the future.